#1 tonight claims to have been the world's first punk rocker. These days, that makes him the most ancient of the species. Please welcome the great rock and roll swindler and architect of the bondage trouser, music producer, fashion designer and manager of the world's most risque rock band, its Sex Pistols Svengali, Mr. Malcolm Mclaren.
You're very welcome, architect of punk rock, hitmaker, fashion guru and grumpy old man like ourselves. Malcolm Mclaren, how are you?
I'm all right.
Good. Now listen, you are a man responsible for those noisy upstarts, the Sex Pistols.
Yeah.
What on earth were you thinking?
Oh, that's a good question. I guess it's such a long time ago, but I think just like you.
Yeah.
Well, you got more of the hairstyle.
Oh God, that's true. You're a bit Johnny Rotten there yourself, huh?
God, I never thought of that. Yeah.
So what?
Come here. How did a fella in the rag trade, right, become manager of probably the most unmanageable band in the history of rock music?
How did it come about? Make something up, Malcolm.
Come here. Should I put the kettle on?
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Right, we'll do
No,
that.
seriously though, were Johnny Rotten and the rest of the band fellas, were they hanging around your shop that you had with Vivienne Westwood on
There's
the
a
King
lot
Floor?
of people were hanging around my shop. And was a lot of thievery.
Oh,
Was
Jesus,
there?
right.
And that probably led me to get out of the shop and run up the street.
Right.
And in running up the street, I grabbed a few guys
Yeah.
Gotcha.
who came back to the shop.
Right.
Right.
And then I had to give them a job
Right.
because that was the only way I could keep them
Right.
from stealing clothes in the store.
Right. So you got them to you
I
created
got
a band
them
around
into the store,
Right.
Yeah.
and then I had to give them a name.
Right.
And the name of the shop was Sex.
Right.
Yes.
And
We're
these
nearly
guys-
there. We're nearly there.
Right.
And these guys were very, very young.
Right.
And I wanted them to sound sexy,
Sexy, gotcha.
but I
That's
wanted
yeah.
them to sound dangerous.
Oh.
I wanted them to be like kind of tough and assassin-like.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you're very young, sometimes you only have that big a penis. So I called them, I thought, a pistol. Because it's a small gun.
Right.
So it had the dangerous element.
Yeah.
And it had a very sexual element.
Sex.
Sex.
Pistols. Yes, we're there!
Good. Jeez, I thought, oh, jeez.
We got there, brother. We got there.
God for that.
That's how the Sex Pistols got their name.
Fantastic. But you know what
Yes.
we should do? You know what we should do?
What?
We should maybe take a look at some anarchy in the UK back in 1977.
Come on, Malcolm.
Right
let's
there.
walk down
Okay,
memory
go
lane.
down
Let's have a
there.
look. Have a look now.
I am an anti-Christ. I am an anarchist. Don't know what I want, but I know how to get it. I want to destroy bomb supply, 'cause I want to be anarchy.
Noisy. That was fierce, loud and noisy and angry, wasn't it?
Yeah. And that was a later incarnation.
Right.
Right.
Come here, in
Because
hindsight.
the bass player there is Sid.
That's right.
That's right, Sid Vicious.
And Sid came later, even though it was a strange thing. Sid's name was John too.
All right.
All right.
And my girlfriend at the time and partner Vivienne
Yeah.
knew we should find someone who can sing in this group.
Yeah.
Right.
And she knew this charismatic guy, she said, called John.
Right.
And she thought he was good looking, and she thought he had a lot of charisma.
Yeah.
All right.
And So I stood in the shop looking for this guy called John.
Right. Can I ask
do you mind if I lie down?
question 2 in an interview of 60 questions, right? Now, in hindsight, Malcolm,
Yeah.
you helped create a whole...
I'm just lying down.
Yeah,
It's
no,
going to take a while.
Do you want a hot water back?
No, I'm grand. Sorry.
Now, in hindsight, you helped
Yeah.
create a whole new musical movement.
That's
but at
true.
the time, were you not shitting yourself, though, Malcolm, when songs like God Save the Queen were viewed as blasphemous and anti-British and all that?
We love them here, but they didn't like it over there.
What you got to understand is that the only reason I did that group
Yeah,
was to mess things up.
right.
The only reason for doing anything in England is to mess things up. And
We agree.
I tried to therefore make things worse. It wasn't good in the 1970s. It was a little like where we are today.
Right, recessions and
In
all
the
that.
shit.
And the kind of chaos that the Sex Pistols inflicted was just one which really, to be honest, was just symbolic. They were the voice of a lot of other people of the same generation.
Come here, how terrifying in real life is that fella Johnny Rotten?
Not terrifying at
Is he
all.
not?
Sid was pretty terrifying.
Was he?
All right.
Yeah, Sid was a handful.
Oh, God.
Because Sid never ever saw a red light. Sid only saw green,
Oh, right.
you know. But
He's a go-boy.
he didn't kill his girlfriend, Nancy, as most people sort of thought he did because he was arrested for murder.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have killed her. He was crazy about her. I think that was a mishap that happened, you know, when you take a lot of drugs and you're hanging out in a hotel like the Chelsea Hotel in New York.
These things,
all
yeah.
kinds of shit happens.
Shit
you know?
happens.
Now listen, with the economy in such shite, will there be another punk-type revolution,
What do you reckon?
Because things are kind of going back to the way they were with the 70s.
I think
Should we have asked this?
I think it's a big story.
Oh, God.
It will take time, but I
Oh,
think.
God.
Could you not just like, paraphrase it for
Could you
us,
not just agree with us, or
Well,
yes
I
or
think
no?
people. I think the big. It's
Is
a
it
lot
good
of.
for music? Is misery good for music, Malcolm?
Yes.
Oh!
Because I always thought that,
We
you know,
had a yes. We should have jumped in.
I thought that, I think that, you know,
Go on,
you don't
keep-
like happy pop songs, do
No,
you?
you're right,
no,
you're right.
no,
exactly.
no.
So, you know, the great songs are always the miserable ones, aren't they?
Come here, what do you
Okay.
make, though, of the old bands getting back together? Should they just leave people with the memories?
Well, I think the biggest
Or
problem
what?
is there are two words that sum up the culture today.
Go on.
Yes.
Okay, one
Yes.
is authenticity.
Right.
Okay, what is true, and the other
Yeah.
is karaoke.
Karaoke.
Authenticity,
We're with you.
Okay.
karaoke.
We are with you on that.
Now-
Gotcha.
Many artists
Yes.
spend their entire lives trying to make true, trying to authenticate a karaoke style.
Right.
Gotcha.
But
Yes.
although that is possible,
Yeah.
you've got to be a bloody alchemist, a magician to pull that off.
Ah.
And there are very, very,
Very
very
few that
few
can do it.
magicians that can do that.
Very good.
Here, right now.
Very good.
And that spans music, art, filmmaking, whatever it is. You know, because what divides great
don't go
artists...
away on us.
We're losing you, man. We're losing you.
Just stay with us now. Stay with us. Right.
Do you know what? It's been interesting to meet you. Never mind the bollocks. It's Malcolm Mclaren, everyone.
Malcolm! Thank you, Malcolm.
Thank you, Malcolm.
Well done.
We got good. We got there in the end.
Done.
Good man.
Fair play to you.
Very nice to meet you.
Very good. Nice to meet you, Malcolm.
I think, by the way...
Jesus, he's still going.
Well, I didn't finish telling you what I think of the situation in the world right now.
Yeah, go on, what?
I think there is something. I think we've all got to learn to live well with less. That's a fact.
Right.
Because the planet can't sustain
Or
it anyway.
steal more.
Something, yeah. I
Yeah.
think that that would be good in some respects. You know, we all know. Yeah.
Well, do you know what? It's been interesting to meet you. Never mind the bollocks. It's Malcolm Mclaren, everyone.
Did I miss something?
No, you didn't miss anything. You're all
Thanks,
right.
Malcolm.
I know,
Where
fair
did I
play to
go?
you, Malcolm. That was great there. Caroline, break out the emergency heroin stash. We've lost the will to live.
Right. I suppose we could take a break. But sticking with the music theme, in part 2, we'll be meeting a former top model turned uber cred indie rock pundit. See you in 3.